Hello, and welcome back to Spaces or Laces. I'm your host, Jeff Meyer. As always, we got a lot on the plate for today. It's a big weekend in NFL and college football. This is the weekend Michigan is playing home against Penn State. Personally going up, it's going to be a nice little trip up to Ann Arbor. Looking forward to an exciting and fun game. Michigan home to Penn State, as I said. Michigan number 5 in the country, Penn State number 14. One of those classic Big Ten matchups. It's going to be fun. We're into November now. Season's winding down. A lot of things, a lot of questions still left to be answered as far as bowl season is concerned in the college football playoff. Getting down to those final 4, which will make the playoffs. Michigan's sitting at 5 at the moment. They're a 10.5-point favorite at home against Penn State. I don't think they're going to cover that spread. I don't think they're going to win by 10.5, but I think they are going to take care of business at home and put Penn State out of their misery once and for all. A loss to Michigan this weekend eliminates Penn State from the Big Ten as far as the conference championship and the playoffs are concerned. Michigan's in the driver's seat right now. They control their own destiny. They have a big win this weekend at home against Penn State. Handle business against Ohio State over Thanksgiving. And Michigan's right there. Being number 5, they're right where they want to be. They handle their business against Penn State, Ohio State, win the Big Ten, and I'm pretty damn sure they're in the college football playoffs. The only thing that's hurting them right now is their loss to Notre Dame. But Notre Dame's in the top 4 already. So I like their chances. Now, it's going to be interesting, too, because this weekend, another huge matchup, talking college football. Number 1 Alabama's playing at number 3 LSU. So if Michigan handles business this weekend, there's a chance after this weekend they're going to be in the Final 4. So I'm thinking after this weekend, I think Alabama's going to take care of business at LSU. So you're going to have Alabama 1, Clemson 2, Notre Dame 3, and I think Michigan number 4. So as a Michigan fan, that's exactly where I want to be. They control their own destiny. The best thing about Michigan's schedule this year, you play Penn State at home, and I'm 99% sure they play Ohio State at home. So they get that home field advantage in 2 of their major games left on the schedule. And in college football, having home field advantage is huge. It's huge in the NFL too, but I feel like it's a little bit more important at home. And that's why, talking about home field advantage, if I was betting this weekend, which I think I'm going to throw some money down, LSU is plus 15 at home against Alabama. I don't think they have a shot at winning this game, but I also don't think they're going to lose by more than 15 points. 15 points at home when you're ranked number 3 in the country. Now, I know Alabama's a different beast. They're Alabama. I mean, that's all you can say. Alabama handles business. Nick Saban takes care of business week in, week out. SEC opponent, top 10 team, top 5 team. They handle business. But number 3 LSU at LSU, that's one of the hardest places to play in college football. One of the hardest places. I think if you're a betting man, you put a lot of money on LSU at home this weekend. So just think, LSU, their only loss this year is to Florida. They lost by 8 to Florida, but that was at Florida. Florida plays well at home. LSU played Georgia at home. They won by 20. Georgia's number 6 in the country. LSU took care of business against Georgia, and Georgia's talented. Georgia has some athletes on that team, some real athletes. So for them to beat Georgia at home by 20, I like LSU's chance to not lose by more than 15 at home against Bama. I can see it being a 7-10 point loss, 13 points, but 15, you're pushing 2 field goals on 2 touchdowns on a field goal there. The 17-point range, the 16-point range. I don't see it happening. You can see them losing by 14, 10, 7. But I do not see them losing by more than 15. And when you're betting, you love home dogs. And LSU, being number 3 in the country, that's a huge home dog. And like I said, they handle business at home against Georgia. And talking about Georgia, Georgia's playing on the road against number 9 Kentucky. Honestly, just to be straight up honest with you, I don't know how Kentucky's number 9 in the country right now. They've snuck into the top 10. They've been off my radar all year. But I guess Kentucky's been handling business, winning the big games. I mean, they got a number 9 ranking in the country. But talking about home dogs, they're +9 at home against Georgia. +9. I'm taking Georgia. The way Georgia put it on Florida, I think Georgia ended up winning by 20, 24 points at Florida. Georgia's rolling right now. I mean, they had the loss to LSU this year. Or excuse me, not the loss to LSU. They lost to Auburn. But they got, not Auburn, shit. Can't remember exactly who they lost to. They lost a big game. Maybe it was LSU. Yeah, they lost to LSU. My bad. Got mixed up for a split second. So all these SEC teams start running together. But Georgia lost to LSU this year, but they're not going to lose to Kentucky. They're going to take care of business at Kentucky, and they're going to win by more than 9 points. They put it on Florida. They're going to put it on Kentucky. Going through some more college football here. Pitt is playing at UVA. UVA is -7.5 at home. They're ranked 25 in the country. I'm actually going to take Pitt as a spoiler here. I'm going to have Pitt covering the spread. I don't know if they're going to win or not, but I'll take the 7.5 points. Pitt's playing at UVA. Texas A&M Auburn. Texas A&M's ranked 20 in the country right now, but they're playing at Auburn. Auburn's -4.5 at home. Excuse me, 4 at home. I'm taking Auburn. Taking the SEC school over Texas A&M. One that I'm really interested in this weekend is going to tell me a lot about the Big 12. Is WVU is playing at Texas. WVU is ranked number 13 in the country. Texas 17. Texas -2 at home. I'm taking WVU with the upset. I think they're going to take care of business in Austin, Texas. I'm taking WVU in that game. So just want to talk about college football first, especially because I'm going to Michigan this weekend, going to Ann Arbor. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great trip. Every time I go to the big house, it's a hell of an experience. And I'm sure this weekend, with Michigan being number 5, this is the first time I've ever see Michigan ranked in the top 10, let alone the top 5. So it's going to be a great experience. It's going to be electric. Big Ten football, Michigan, Penn State. Oh, it's going to be exciting. I'm very, very, very excited. I was hoping it was going to be a night game. That didn't pan out, but at least we got a 3:30 game. We don't have a noon game. So 3:30 game at Ann Arbor at the big house. It's going to be a great weekend. Now, rolling into the NFL, we got the Raiders tonight. Raiders are playing at the 49ers. 49ers are -2.5 at home against the Raiders. I'm taking John Gruden and the Raiders. I don't know why I keep picking the Raiders. Shouldn't be picking the Raiders. I think I'm a little fanboy with John Gruden and the Raiders, but taking the Raiders in that game. Now the Bears are playing at the Bills. Bills are +10 at home. Gotta love home dogs. But I'm taking the Bears and the NFC North. The NFC North has been playing well this year. I'm taking the Bears, which the Bears are winning the NFC North. Did not see that coming for the year. I've been huge on Mitchell Trubisky. He's been playing well this year. Last year, I was all over him as my rookie quarterback coming into last year's NFL season. I mean, he's playing well enough to winning the NFC North. When you got Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers and Matt Stafford in that division. So I think that speaks a lot about him, a young quarterback, second year in the league, winning the NFC North. Now, it's only week 9 in the NFL season, so there's a lot of games left. But if you're a Bears fan, you got to be excited about that. Young quarterback playing well enough to be winning the NFC North. Hey, future might be bright for the Bears, but we'll see. Time will tell. Bucs are playing at the Panthers. Cam Newton and the Panthers are -6 at home. I'm taking the Panthers. The Bucs got a lot of problems. Jameis Winston on the Buccaneers. I don't know where the future. Talking about how the future is looking bright for the Bears. I don't know if the future is looking bright for the Bucs. Jameis Winston was supposed to be your guy. Missed a couple games starting off this season. Can't remember. He's had so many off-the-field issues, so many different things. I don't know which one this was where he was suspended, wasn't even able to play starting the year. Fitzmagic played well. Beginning of the year, Jameis Winston came back. I think Fitzpatrick had maybe a subpar game. I know he lost to the Steelers and it maybe started unraveling a little bit there. But Winston came back. Hasn't been playing well, threw a lot of picks. Fitzpatrick came in last week's game, I believe it was last week, against the Bengals. Almost brought him back. Almost had a chance of winning. Was not successful, but I don't know what's going on with the Bucs. I'm guessing Fitzpatrick's playing this weekend. I'm pretty sure I heard that he's playing this weekend over Winston. A lot of uncertainty with that team organization, the quarterback position, which is the most important position. So they're going to have some problems, and I think those problems are going to translate into a loss. Excuse me. A loss at the Panthers. Cam Newton will take care of business. They'll win by more than 6. The Chiefs are traveling to Cleveland. Talking about Cleveland, as you guys all know, I'm sure it's been all over ESPN, all over social media. The Browns fired their head coach and their offensive coordinator, Todd Haley, after losing at Pittsburgh. And I saw some crazy stat where this is like the 4th or 5th head coach that's been fired immediately after losing to Pittsburgh, which is hilarious. Cleveland is the little brother, or that can't. It's funny because like a couple years ago, I think it was Mike Hart said that, Michigan State was Michigan's little brother. And since then, it's been kind of dicey playing Michigan State. Michigan State's won a lot of big games against Michigan. But honestly, Cleveland is Pittsburgh's little sister city. Will never be as good as Pittsburgh. And this thing is funny. Every time they lose and, the inferiority complex comes out for Cleveland, they fire their head coach. The world's all is not right with the world in Cleveland, and they got rid of their coaches, their offensive coordinator and their head coach. So I don't know what's going to go on the Browns. Excuse me. Wow. Throat's killing me today. But it's never good when you have a young quarterback who starts learning under an offensive coordinator, a head coach, a system, a situation, and then mid-season, boom, it just blows up. So this is not good for Baker Mayfield. This is not good for his development. And it's crazy because the Browns are so talented. They are loaded at almost every position, and they can never just figure it out. They don't have the right coaching situation. They don't have the right personnel players. Even though they're so talented, it just doesn't work out. And it's sad. But with that being said, the Chiefs are traveling there. The Browns are plus 8.5 at home. They're in turmoil. The Chiefs are going to pounce on them. Chiefs are going to win by 1,000,000. I don't even know. The Chiefs are going to run all over through Cleveland. Take that. It's a huge, 8.5 points at home. Or on the flip side, the Chiefs are 8.5 points on the road. Take it. Bet heavy on the Chiefs. Browns will not play well this week. Jets are traveling to Miami. The Dolphins are -3 at home. I'm taking the Dolphins in that one. Steelers this weekend are traveling to Baltimore. Baltimore's -3 at home. I like the Steelers' chance. They got whooped on Sunday Night Football at home against the Ravens. But that was a few weeks ago, and things are changing. Things are getting much better in Pittsburgh. Steelers are 4-2-1. Baltimore's 4-4. Steelers are winning the AFC North. I like the Steelers' chance. I'll take them +3 at the Ravens. Lions are traveling to the Vikings. Vikings are -5 at home, taking Kirk Cousins and the Vikings at home against the Lions. Falcons are traveling to the Redskins. Redskins -1.5 at home, taking Matt Ryan and the Falcons. The Redskins are playing unreal. They're winning the NFC East, but I'm taking the Falcons. I'm pretty sure the Falcons are 3rd place in the NFC South, but I don't know. I like the Falcons a lot. I like Matt Ryan, good quarterback. Things are going to turn around. See, the NFC South's hard this year. Drew Brees is Drew Brees, and he's winning the NFC South with the Saints. Then the Panthers are playing pretty well. Cam Newton's putting it together. So, the Falcons, they might even be under 500. I don't know the record off the top of my head. But they're in 3rd place in that division for sure. I think things are going to turn around for them. I think they're going to get a big win at Washington this weekend. And there's a lot of games left, so I don't know what's going to happen with the Falcons, but I think the Saints are locking down that division, but I think the Panthers and the Falcons are going to fight for a wild card spot, so we'll see how that all plays out. Going then to the AFC, Texans are playing at Denver. I made a new rule for betting. Never bet against Denver at home at Mile High Stadium. They'll play well. Texans are the better team, but Denver's -1 at home. I like the home field advantage in that one. I'll take Denver in the betting thing. Betting. But the Texans have pulled it around. They lost Fuller last weekend, which hurts them, but then they end up taking Demaryius Thomas from the Broncos, which is hilarious. They're now playing at Denver. I think the Texans will be all right. Deshaun Watson's playing like he should be playing. I'm taking Denver, though. I don't know. I just like Denver at home. Chargers are playing at Seattle. Seahawks are -2 at home. I'm taking Seattle on this one. The Chargers are a force to reckon with. I feel like the last couple of years they've been a dark horse in the AFC, and they haven't really panned out They were the dark horse, but necessarily didn't play up to their potential. Phillip Rivers has them winning the AFC West. They're in second place in the AFC West, excuse me. The Chiefs are winning the AFC West, but they're in second place. Definitely at least a wild card team at this point. I think they'll lose to Seattle, but Phillip Rivers has the Chargers going in the right direction this year. Like I said, they've been the dark horse in years. I think they're also a dark horse this year. I would not want to play the Chargers. They continue to do what they're doing this season. I would not want to play them in the playoffs being a Pittsburgh fan. Rams are playing at the Saints. I'm taking the Rams in this one. Rams are +1 in New Orleans. I feel like this is a risky bet. Rams are undefeated. Saints have Drew Brees. This is going to be a shootout. This is going to be one hell of a game. This is my game to watch this week. Even being a Steelers fan, watching the Steelers playing the Ravens, I cannot wait to watch the Rams and Saints. This is going to be a fun game. This is going to tell us a lot about the NFC. It's going to tell us who's the team to beat in the NFC. I think it's the Rams. I mean, took care of business with the Packers last week. But I think the Packers, Rams, Saints, and that's the thing with the Packers. I'm still high on the Packers just because of Aaron Rodgers. I think they got a lot of problems, but I don't know. I was going to take the Rams in the Rams-Saints game, but talking about the Packers, they're playing the Patriots. Patriots are -5.5 at home. It's hard playing at New England, but I'm taking the Packers. Aaron Rodgers will figure it out. Aaron Rodgers will cover the spread. I don't know if they'll win, but they'll cover the spread. If they lose again, it's going to be a 3-point game. They should have beat the Rams. Ty Montgomery completely fucked them last week. Should have took a kneel on that final kickoff return. Should have caught the ball, took a knee, let Aaron Rodgers, 2 minutes left, drive the field, get a field goal, win the game. It was right there. The storyline was already set. Everything was set perfectly for an Aaron Rodgers comeback to beat the Rams, to knock them off and destroy their perfect record. But unfortunately, Ty Montgomery was bigger than the team, cared more about himself and personal just ego. I don't even know exactly what happened, but the coaching staff told him to take a knee. He didn't take a knee. He's no longer a Packer. Let's just put it that way. Trade deadline was this week. He is no longer a Packer. A lot of things happened in the trade deadline. A lot of people went different places, which too many to talk about right now, but he's one who's no longer a Packer after last week, which I think is hilarious. You know, if you got a guy who's bigger than the team, get him the hell out of there. Cost him a win. And how close the NFC North is right now with the Bears winning. And the Packers are third in the NFC North. The Vikings are ahead of them. The Bears and the Vikings ahead of them. So that loss hurt really bad. I mean, his selfishness, his just being bigger than the team could hurt the Packers. And if that prevents them from making the playoff, whether winning the division or a wild card, that is going to be something to talk about, especially for Packer fans for years to come. Anytime you have Aaron Rodgers and you can at least get to the playoffs and make it the playoffs, you have a shot. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You have a shot at making a run. Aaron Rodgers getting hot. Aaron Rodgers making a run at the Super Bowl and possibly winning it. So that's crazy that, Ty Montgomery was that big of a dick last week against the Rams, that he completely spoiled that whole situation with a possible. And that's the thing, too, it's a possible. Aaron Rodgers could have dropped back first play, got strip sacked, fumbled. Rams could have scored. He'd have threw a pick six. Who knows? But I'd like to see what would happen. I'd like the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands with 2 minutes left in that game. But then you have, just talking about the last game of the week, Titans-Cowboys. Cowboys are -6 at home. I'm taking the Titans to cover that spread. Cowboys will probably win at home, but I'm going to take the Titans covering that spread, like I just mentioned. But that's my last bit of sports betting for the week. Now I just want to finish this episode up. Just want to talk Steelers. As I mentioned previously, Steelers are winning the AFC North. I'm going to run through the AFC North real quick. AFC North. Steelers are winning the division at 4-2-1. Cincy's in second place and 3-5. Baltimore's 4-4 in third, and Cleveland is 2-5-1 in last place. And it's crazy. I think I mentioned this in a previous episode. The world was falling in Pittsburgh. The sky was falling. The world was in turmoil. The Steelers were tied for last place in the division with the Cleveland Browns. But after 8 weeks, going into week 9, all was right in the world in Pittsburgh. as far as football is concerned. Steelers are winning the division, and they're handling business. They look like the team they're supposed to look like. James Conner is playing out his mind. I was at the Steelers-Cleveland game last weekend, and it is honestly amazing. The whole James Conner story, and I mentioned before, he doesn't want to talk about, personal issues that's happened with the whole him overcoming cancer thing. He doesn't want any of that, but hey, it happened. It's part of the whole story. It's a little piece of the puzzle. But as far as a professional is concerned, a football player only, he is a professional. He handles and conducts himself the right way, and he is doing exactly what the Steelers organization wants. As a fan of the Steelers, he's one of the brightest up-and-coming stars. I know, obviously, we have Juju Smith-Schuster, who I feel like in his second year, he's a star already. So you have Juju, young player, James Conner, young player. Future's looking bright for Pittsburgh. I mean, I don't know how many more years Big Ben's going to play. I feel like every year I'm like, oh, he's just got one more year. Who knows how long he's going to play? But I feel like the Steelers are on the right track now. If the defense can play better, they got a shot at a Super Bowl. Anytime you have a Pro Bowl quarterback, you have AB as your star receiver. Juju's playing well. James Conner's playing well. Vance McDonald's playing all right out of the tight end position. The offensive line's doing well. I mean, Conner rushed for like 146 yards or something like that, 2 touchdowns, caught the ball in the backfield, made a huge impact last week. The offense is clicking. If the defense can do enough to win games, Steelers are going to make a run at it, and I'm very, very excited. And here's the greatest part of this. Le'Veon Bell is coming back soon. I don't know if he's going to be in shape. I talked about this before. He's probably going to come back, look like dog shit for at least a week or two. But if he can come back, get in some sort of football shape and beat Le'Veon Bell, hopefully in a couple weeks, at one point in this season, Steelers' offense is going to be dangerous because they're going to have the potential now for their starting offense. Big Ben, James Conner, Le'Veon Bell, AB, Juju, Vance McDonald. They're going to have the ability to have James Conner in the running back position and have Le'Veon in the slot where Le'Veon wants to get paid and play. Like, it's just so funny to me. What he wants is what's probably going to happen. I mean, he's not going to get paid as a Steeler, but if he can come back, play well, play from that slot position, take a couple handoffs out of the backfield, show he's still explosive, he's going to get paid next year. And the greatest thing is, it looks like Le'Veon, for at least the last part of this season, is going to be a rental player for the Steelers. I have so many mixed opinions on this. I know I've been talking about this for weeks. I feel like this has been the news for the year for the Steelers. But if he can come back and James Conner keeps playing well and Le'Veon can be some sort of his former self, he can play like Le'Veon Bell, Steelers are going to be dangerous. They are going to be dangerous. They're going to put points up. Oh, I'm excited. My blood pressure is rising. My heart rate is rising. Just thinking about how awesome that offense can be with all those pieces. I mean, it's crazy. I just wish Le'Veon Bell wasn't such an asshole because we could have had him all year so far, and the Steelers might be better than 4-2-1. With Le'Veon Bell, they probably wouldn't have tied Cleveland, so at least 5-2. I mean, they took a beating to the Ravens, and they got blown out by the Chiefs. That's their only 2 losses, and that's the best part about this situation too. They're playing at Baltimore. They can handle business at Baltimore. The Ravens are going to drop to 4-5. And I'm not sure when their bye week's coming, but it's coming soon. But going into a potential bye week here in the near future with them with a losing record and the Steelers winning the AFC North, that is exactly where you want to be. And the Steelers already took care of business with the Bengals on the road. So you're going to play the Bengals, I believe, week 17, the last game of the year, but they're playing them at home. So even if the season division comes down to the last week, at least you're going to play the Bengals at home. And that's the thing. The Steelers' schedule doesn't get any easier. So they really need to handle business this weekend at Baltimore. You still play at Denver. You still play at the Saints. You still play the Patriots. You still play the Chargers. Schedule doesn't get any easier. Doesn't get any easier. So they really need to handle business this weekend, continue to lead the AFC North, be the team to beat in the AFC North like they should be. And all, good things are going to happen. But yeah, this weekend is huge for the Steelers. to put Baltimore at 4-5 with them being their really only bad loss they lost pretty badly to the Chiefs, but within the division itself, they lost, horribly to the Ravens at home. So if you can knock them off on the road, then you sit at 5-2-1. Bengals this weekend, I believe they're on their bye. So Baltimore drops to 4-5. You're 5-2-1. Steelers will be in the driver's seat. And that's exactly where you want to be as a Steelers fan. But Cleveland, you can write them off. Fire their head coach, fire their offensive coordinator. They're 2-5-1, and things are going to get worse, especially because they're playing the Chiefs this week. So they're going to drop to 2-6-1, pretty much eliminating themselves from the AFC North by week 10. So that's pretty much par for the course for Cleveland. But yeah, I think that's all I got today. It was a lot of fun. I'm very excited. Huge weekend. Going to Ann Arbor, watching Michigan, Penn State. Michigan being number 5 in the country, Penn State being 14. It's going to be a hell of a weekend. A lot of drinking, a lot of festivities for this weekend in Ann Arbor. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's all I got here on Spaces Laces. Hopefully the Steelers can pull off a win at Baltimore. But this is Jeff here. Spaces Laces, over and out.